Welcome to the Grammar Guru. Today's question, when should I use less and when should I use fewer? To answer this, I'm going to pour some water from this jug into one of these teacups. There's now less water in the jug, and there's one fewer empty teacup. All right, so why did I say less with water and fewer with the teacups? Water is a substance. I'm not thinking of this water in the jug as many different pieces, many different waters all together. I'm simply thinking about what's the whole. Unlike the water, the teacups can actually be seen as three distinct individuals that just happen to be put together in a group. When I put these teacups next to one another, they don't lose their identity. That's because the teacups are what's called countable nouns. They can be put together in groups, they can be made plural. Now I have 3 teacups, but they retain their individuality. This is also true for nouns like people, books, airplanes, Congress members, and armadillos. All of those can be made plural, and all of those can have a number answer when somebody asks, how many of those do you have? How many teacups? 3. How many books? 17,864. So because those are countable nouns, I'm using few and fewer. I only have a few teacups here because I only have 3 out of my collection. And now that I filled one up, I have fewer empty teacups. I only have 2 empties. Whereas the water, which remains still just water after I pour some out, is an uncountable noun. Here's another uncountable noun, sugar. Think about reading a recipe. It's going to tell you how many cups or tablespoons to measure out of a substance, but you would never see a recipe that says put in 2 flours or 3 sugars. I can measure out the sugar just as I measure out the cups of water. And this tablespoon is a countable noun. How many tablespoons? But the sugar isn't. I would never ask how many sugars when I'm putting it into my recipe. That's all. Countable nouns get many and fewer, and uncountable nouns get less. You're decreasing the amount of substance. Here are some more uncountable nouns. Money. Sure, we measure it in bills and coins, but people talk about having less money and more money, not fewer money and many money. Doesn't make sense. Time is another uncountable. You can measure it out in hours and minutes and seconds, but the time itself is just a substance that can be made more or made less. A lot of emotion words like anger, happiness, joy, jealousy, those are all uncountable nouns too. If you're confused about whether a noun is countable or uncountable, try making it plural. If you can make it plural successfully, then you have a countable noun. If you can't, if it doesn't make any sense to make it plural, then you've got an uncountable noun that's just a substance. Now, note this exception. Sometimes we do use shorthand in English. So if I am having tea and I ask for 2 sugars, you might think that kind of spoils the whole countable, uncountable thing. But keep in mind, I'm asking for 2 packets of sugar or 2 lumps of sugar, depending on how the host is serving the sugar. And the same thing is true if I'm at a restaurant and I ask for 3 waters for the table. I don't really mean 3 waters, I mean 3 glasses of water. So don't worry about those. They're just shortcuts of language. If you want to submit your own question for the Grammar Guru to answer, visit us online at wholeed.com. See you next time.